Welcome to this Arnall-Culliford knitwear tutorial on knitting in your ends in your projects. This tutorial is part of our Boost Your Knitting series, 12 projects to teach you 12 new techniques from the world's best knitting designers. If you'd like to find out more about Boost Your Knitting or purchase kits or the yarns to go with any of the projects in the book, then do click the link up here, which will take you over to our website. This is Tori Seierstad's beautiful Marangoni hat, which is one of the projects in Boost Your Knitting. We're going to use this lovely hat design to show you how to join in yarns when you're working Fair Isle. These techniques can also be used with all sorts of other knitting projects, whether you're just finishing a ball of yarn and joining in a new one of the same colour, or whether you're changing colours as you might do in a Fair Isle project. Today's tutorial is going to show you how to knit in your ends, and this just saves you from weaving them in at the end of the project, and it's always good to cast off and be able to go straight away with a new project, isn't it? That's my favourite part. I'm going to show you how to knit in the ends of a new ball of yarn. You can use this when you're changing from one colour to a new colour, but you can also use it when you've finished a ball of yarn and you're continuing with the new colour, so as to make a nice subtle change from one ball to the next. This is a great technique because it saves you from having far too many ends to weave in at the end of a project, and I don't know about you, but that's definitely not one of my favourite parts of knitting. So I'm knitting with the green yarn, and I've got 8 stitches remaining before the end of the round, and at the end of the round I'm going to be changing to use this blue coloured yarn. And I'd normally leave probably 6-ish in a Shetland yarn like this one. It's quite sticky, it will felt together quite quickly, and it won't be easy for the ends to work themselves free. I'm doing a little bit more than that here just to show you clearly what's going on. If you're using a slippery yarn, then definitely knit the end in for a few more stitches to make sure it's totally secure. So all we have to do is hold the new yarn over the old yarn, ready to work the next stitch. I always leave a good bit of tail here because it gives you some options. If you need to weave it back in the other direction because your yarn is slippery, then you've got some to do that with. If you're happy that it's secure, you can just trim it shorter when you're finished with the project. So hold the new yarn over the old one and knit the stitch, and what we're looking for is for the new yarn to be caught behind the yarn you're currently using, so that's anchored in there. Then we're ready to knit the next stitch, and we're going to take the tail attached to the ball and we're going to bring it up back over the needle. We knit the next stitch, and you can see that again that's been caught behind the working yarn. We're now ready to work the next stitch, so we bring the new yarn back down over the working yarn, and we keep alternating like that, up and down, and up, and down, and up. And it doesn't matter whether you end with an up or a down, but if you look at the rear of the work, it's a bit of a mess because it's colour work. There's lots of strands of yarn going on, but that new yarn has gone and snaked its way up and down behind the stitches we've just worked. If you have a look at it on the front, you can't see where the new yarn has been joined in. If you do find that you've got a little bit of the yarn peeping through between the stitches, if you give it a tug on the back to even it out, to make it straight, you should find that the yarn pulls to the back and you can't see it anymore. So that's how I've joined in the new yarn. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to switch to using that new yarn, and I'm going to show you how to weave in the end of the old yarn. So it's literally the same process. You can use it to join in the new one and weave in the old one, which means when you come to the end, all we'll have to do is snip the ends. I always leave a little bit so that it doesn't pop through to the right side, but you haven't got to get out a tapestry needle. So we're now going to work with the new yarn, which is the blue. And we work the first stitch. And now here's the old one. I'm going to bring it up. And then I knit the next stitch and I'm going to bring it down. And then I'm going to bring it up before the next one. And I keep moving it up and down until I've knitted it in for about, well, let's just do 6 stitches here. It's a Shetland wool, it's definitely going to stick. It's not going to slip out or do anything like that. And now I can just break my yarn and continue on working with the new colour. And so here you go, from the right side of the fabric. You can't see where the yarn's been knitted in, and on the wrong side here you can see that green yarn weaving up and down like a snake behind the new yarn stitches, and that just keeps it all nice and secure and joined in, and no need for a tapestry needle at the end of the project. Thank you for watching this tutorial on knitting in your ends. I hope that that will help you out next time you're working on a project and have to change colours, or when you're joining in a new ball in a project. It's always good to avoid one of those finishing steps at the end of the project, I find. If you'd like to find out more about Boost Your Knitting or purchase kits or yarns for any of the projects in the collection, do click the link up here, which will take you over to our website. And if you've enjoyed this tutorial, why not subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jen AC Knitwear, and then you'll be sure to catch our next one when we release it. Thanks ever so much for watching.